Just disappeared. Yeah, that's all right. So muddy. Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. On today's video, try to get our road under control here. This is a bad wet area, but it's become the main traffic area for daily chores. So let me show you what we've got. So I've documented in previous videos the amount of water that comes out of the hill here. Under this rock, when we get a heavy rain or in the wet season, this thing is rolling like a stream. And then of course we've got this watershed that comes down and just drains, and it used to just drain right across the creek. Well, I tried to get in here with the tractor and cut a ditch deep enough to set a culvert. Well, of course I hit solid stone. That's the issue with these bed areas here. So coming in, backfilling with dirt as much as I could, digging it out of the erosion from previous property owners in this watershed with the tractor, bringing this dirt down. Had a decently dry day, got a good bit of it in, but of course with settling, it settled more, and then once the rain came back, then we ended up having a lot of mud. So you can see these huge ruts that I've caused with the side-by-side and the tractor coming through here every morning to do my chores. The boar corral's up there, just giving you guys an idea where we are. And of course, swing around, there's the barn. So this has become the main thoroughfare, but there's just so much water. And the plan is to, one of these days, get an excavator here and really try to get ditches cut. But until then, we're going to use some rocks. So the boys and Kelly and I, that's the beauty of being the film guy, you don't have to get your hands as muddy as much. Get down here in the mud, toss some rocks up from the creek to fill in the bad ruts. And then we're going to come back and we're going to use our slabs from the sawmill and see if we can do some road repair there with slabs. This process tends to create a little opportunity for splatter. Fortunately, this isn't pig mud. dump it. Well, it looks like a herd of goats, but it's actually doing what it's supposed to, of course, is keeping us out of the mud and keeping us from rutting out more. The whole key to this, putting them sideways, of course, is just weight displacement. You saw with Kelly with the tractor and a full bucket load that it didn't make ruts. Of course, it just made everything squeeze out. So that's what we're hoping, is that the more I drive over this with a side-by-side, that it'll squeeze out and fill in some of those ruts underneath and not allow water to pool. Now, this is clearly just a temporary solution. This stuff's going to rot out. Some of this stuff will rot out within the year, of course, being poplar, stuck in mud. So I'm not expecting this to be a permanent fix. But if you notice, I came through and cut everything flush here on this side so it didn't stick out in my ditch. If it ever dries out, I don't know if we can keep saying that in West Virginia, it hasn't the past 4 years, the plan would be to bring a mini X in here and bucket a lot of this out. The problem I have, as you can see further down, is the hillside comes straight down to the road. There's all this water that comes down. We put the culvert in, but there's still some low spots over here that need to be corrected. So a mini X in all this mud, of course, would just sink up and complicate the problem. But having all of these boards here with a mini excavator not being super heavy if some of those are lighter than my tractor, I think it's about to rain, then I can take the mini X, keep it up here on dry ground, and dredge a lot of that ditch out, get my ditches set, and get this road base actually drying out so we can compact it. What's interesting is when clay dries out and you can keep water shedding off of it, it becomes like concrete. Let me turn and show you right here where the side-by-side is. This portion here is absolute concrete. I mean, we could play basketball here, but it's the exact same soil composition as what's behind me. So you can see some of the squeeze out from the mud. Again, hopefully that'll get pushed aside and fill in some of these ruts. You can see down in those holes, there's still some decent ruts we couldn't get filled with rock. But we still have this muddy approach there. There's a lot of water that just comes right out underneath that rock element there. So we've got to get that ditched and get that dried out. So the plan again is just to keep improving this road. This road back to the boar paddock is now become a major thoroughfare for chores and access. So we got to get water off of it, get a road base established, and before we even begin to try to bring back and put stone in. If we don't get the water off of it, we're just wasting money. So tonight will be the real test. We're actually expecting severe thunderstorms and a lot of heavy rain. According to the weatherman, I believe he said it was either a frog choker or a gully washer. I'd have to look back again. But we're expecting a real deluge of rain. Although I think it's supposed to happen after dark, so I guess that would be a night luge. We'll be able to see how this works out. Again, hopefully just kind of fill in some of the gaps. The water runs still where it's supposed to, but we can keep a lot of water from pooling right here on the road. Since I drive through here every morning for chores, it didn't give it a chance to ever dry out and keep from getting wallowed out. But we'll, if it rains tonight, I'll come back and check this out. So if there's more video here, then you know there was something worth showing. If it wasn't, then I'm going to say, all right, take care, everybody. So we've also made a pretty good dent in the slab pile. The boys have gone through quite a bit of that. It's also revealed there's a lot of sycamore saplings I got to get cut down. But just one little side note here. Here's the spot where I did this. This is about 4 or 5 months old now. I put a little pipe in. There's actually a lot of water that comes down. It's water coming down off of this hillside. There's a spring actually. I don't know if you can see the pigs over there, but they're standing right by the spring. But there's a little iron pipe right here, a little culvert that this water drains down through. And when I put that culvert in, this would not dry out. I could not get it dried out enough to be able to put dry soil on top to pack it down. So put these boards in, and it's allowed that to silt in nicely, so there's not squishy water underneath. If I would have extended the boards here to fill in this little hole here, then that would have helped even better. But it does hold up.